Howdy everyone, this is LockNutz, and you're watching a map tour of Elm Creek on FS22. Hopefully you'll stick around to see what happens. Howdy, howdy, howdy. How are you guys doing today? Oh my goodness, today we get to look at one of 3 starter maps on FS22. This map is Elm Creek. Now, I started this game off on new farmer mode so we can see what we end up starting with. Now, one thing that I did do here is I did end up giving myself a government subsidy in order to get some money to show you guys what's going on. Otherwise, you normally start off in new farmer mode with $100,000. On farm manager mode, you start off with $1,500,000, and start from scratch, you start off with $500,000. So, with that being said, on new farmer mode, let's see what we actually start off with. Now, we're going to take a look at the vehicles first. Alright, you start off with a John Deere, 2 John Deere tractors, and 1 Massey Ferguson. I tell you what, that is a darn good lineup for anybody who's just starting off. Harvester-wise, you start out with a Dutzfar Topliner. That is a decent harvester. I've played with that a little bit already, and not too shabby. That comes with a header for the Dutzfar, and also a header trailer as well. As for vehicles, you actually start off with a Lizard 1986 pickup, red, gotta love that. You start off with 1 trailer, and cultivator-wise, you start off with a Rab. Seeder-wise, you start off with a Nordstein, and you get yourself a couple of weights to make sure your tractors don't go crazy on you. So, that's what you start off with equipment-wise. Now, that's not right. Let's take a look at what you start off with land-wise on new farmer mode. Let's see here. Farmland, you start off on new farmer mode with just this 1 plot of land, and it comes with 4 fields. Now, we'll take a little walk around the farmyard here and see what's going on, but that's not all what's happening here. So, when you go ahead and start off, you don't start off with any animals on here. We'll go ahead and take a look at everything. But if you take a look at this map here, there is a wide variety of field sizes and prices. Now, the most expensive chunk of land is right up here, and that is $1.1 million. The most expensive field on the map is field 70 right here, and that is $772,000. And if we go to the opposite end of the spectrum, right behind your starting farm right here, field 48 is the absolute smallest individual field on the map that you can purchase for $49,000. Now, there are some smaller fields down here, but they get in bundles. So as you can see, where you start running into some of the smaller fields, you do get bundles of fields. I'm not sure how you want to quite say it, but that is what ends up happening. Now, on this map, other than your farm right here, if you choose to start off in a different farm mode, or you want to start off in this farm mode and sell everything off, there are other farms that you can go ahead and get. Now, some of them are more or less traditional farms where you have storage space, and other ones aren't so much traditional farms, whereas you have individual, you have farm buildings, but you don't necessarily have farm storage. Like these 2 areas right here. These 2 are actually farms. They come along with their own fields and barn-related items, but there really is no storage in the buildings. So that's something you want to make yourself aware of. There are also 4 other starting farms, pretty much in each corner There's one up in this side for 577,000. This one over here for 260,000. You have this one down in this corner here for 244,000, and this one over here for 243,000. Now, each one of them goes ahead and gives you some unique settings, some unique places, and each one comes with a multitude of fields. So if you want to start off over here, you have 4 individual fields you can get, but as you can see, the fields are not big, so you'll have choices and options altogether. Now, one thing that's different about this map in comparison to FS19 is now the BGA is located right here. You can't buy this chunk of land where the BGA is. You actually have to physically go there, oops, sorry about that, through the production chain and buy the BGA. Now we'll come over here and buy the BGA so you can see what the BGA prices are going to be. Now this particular BGA is $1.5 million. So that's why I gave myself the government subsidy so I could demonstrate this for you guys and show you. So we went and purchased that. Now to come on here and see what's going on, this BGA will accept silage, slurry, manure, and sugar beets. You'll get an outgoing product of digestate. Now, you can also go ahead and make things here at this BGA. By going ahead, you can get yourself some methane, not only digestate, but you can also get electricity as well. So you have that to look forward to. That's a slightly different wrinkle than what we're used to seeing in FS19. But these are what you do get in here. Now, what are the prices that you're going to get for all of that? So let's come over here to silage. BGA price for silage is not too bad, $480 per 1,000 liters. Not too bad. Now, this particular one does not accept grass or hay, so that's not going to work out for you. Like we said, it does accept some items, like cut sugar beets. You'll be able to go ahead and sell that. That appears to be a fluctuating price, but if that's what the price is, that's not too bad. Let's head on down over here to manure, $100, and slurry, just a hair over right now, but manure is going up. It's coming in hot. And you cannot sell digestate on this map. So that is kind of the basic. You have your standard crops that you can grow on here. The couple new crops that we're not used to seeing from 19, sorghum, grapes, olives. Those ones are standard on this map, and it's going to be standard for FS22. So I'm not going to really dive into that as a special crop because now it's no longer a special crop. It's standard. It's an awesome perk of 22. So with that being said, let's come on down here. We'll tab back over to the farm here. And we'll hop out. We'll give ourselves a little bit of a tour over here. So this is our farm. These are the 2 of the 3 fields you actually start off with. This one has nothing in it right away. This one does have some wheat you can harvest, so you can start off that way. We do have a little bit of storage here in our barn. So, I mean, it's not tons, but you do have some storage in the barn. It's not too bad. But one kind of neat little feature about this barn is if you come down here below, shh, watch out. There's a little secret down here. So you can actually store some stuff down in here if you want. And down over here off to the side, you have a little room. A little secret room. I'm not sure what you want to call it. And you got little bits and pieces that you can go ahead and put into place. Oh, man. Well, you get the picture. I'm not very good at putting little things in there. Oh, man. But it's a neat little feature that doesn't need to be added into the game. It does nothing except make you feel good. Now, one thing I'm not going to really dive into too much is the differences between FS19 and 22 because, I mean, looking at the trees, the grass, everything here, there is differences aplenty. Now, this is our other field that we have over here that you end up starting off with. So not too darn shabby. We have our silo that's available to us. And let's here's our house. Yeah, that's right. Here's our house where you can go ahead and it actually does have a sleep trigger. So what we're going to do here, guys, is we're going to kind of drive around. Now, I'm going to go ahead and bring up the little bit of a map here so I can kind of keep track of where we are and what's going on. We're going to go ahead and kind of briefly drive around the map and get a look-see of the lay of the land. Don't panic too much because I am going to be driving through fields to kind of show you what the terrain looks like of the fields. But for starters, let's kind of drive ourselves through town. Now, like I was saying, there are differences between FS22 and 19 that are aplenty. Production is one of them. Now, one of the things I would like to point out to you guys is, like, this is a good enough place to stop, if any. Right here, you have one of the production chains that you can go ahead and buy. This is the bakery, $50,000. Pretty darn good. We'll go ahead and buy that. You can go ahead and click on this, and it shows you some of the stuff that ends up popping up. Now, you can go ahead and have bread and cake. But if you notice, there's all of these ingredients that you need for the bread and for the cake. Well, for the bread, you just need flour. For the cake, you need all of this stuff in here. So if you want to get the bread, now you don't have to do it this way, but be mindful that you're going to need to have the other things involved with this. Like, you need to be able to make the flour at the mill. So when you're going ahead and looking at buying these things, be careful and think about how you want to go about doing it. Because once you buy it, as of right now in FS22, that's it. You're stuck with it. You can't sell it, so if you didn't want to get that, tough. Oh man, so that's just a little thing to keep your mind on. There are a handful of things that you can go ahead and get here. Actually, since we're right here, we'll go ahead and we'll just stay pulled off to the side of the road, and we will look at all of the different things that we can go ahead and purchase, I should say, for productions on this particular map. Now, this map does have quite a few things on here. We have the bakery, which was just bought, the biogas plant, which we bought as well, the oil mill, the grape processing unit, the carpentry, the cereal factory, the dairy, the sawmill, the spinnery, and the grain mill. So keep those in mind, that if you want to go ahead and start working on productions and really jumping into that head first and really going in hard, think about how you want to go about doing that. Look into the production change, see if that's what you want to do. But honestly, guys, it's completely up to you. That's one of the coolest things about FS22 and the FS series altogether, is there really is no wrong way to go about doing stuff. It's all pretty darn cool. So at this point, we're going to kind of drive through some of the fields. I know, this hurts. This hurts me inside, driving through the fields. But I like going through the fields just to kind of see what the land looks like, see what the terrain looks like. And as you can see on this particular map, it's pretty flat. It is pretty darn flat. So why does that matter? Well, when it comes to buying equipment, you're not really going to need to oversize your equipment for the fields that you have, because the horsepower requirements are going to work out pretty slick. You're not going to have to compensate for going up hills, going down hills, up, over the place, rough spots. You don't have to worry about that. Pretty much the requirements that you're going to need for your vehicles, for your implements, that's all you need. You don't really need to go up and above and beyond. So I just wanted to come over here, take a look at this farm here. This is the one farm down in the southeast corner of the map. And as you can see, now this is something kind of new to FS. You get that nice little warning if you're going to drive off the map. That's not too bad, because honestly, they do a good job of blending stuff in pretty well. So you want to keep your eyes open for that. Now, as for road widths, places to get yourself in and out of. You're pretty much wide open on this map. There aren't a lot of narrow paths, narrow roads, pinch points, if you will, where you're really going to run into some issues. You don't have to worry about that stuff too much because, as you'll find out, I disagree most of the time, but as you'll find out in a lot of American-style maps, they're wide open. They're wide open and flat, and that's the way it is. So you got these nice big roads to be getting yourself through here, and this right here is your largest field up on the right. And I wanted to come down here to take a peek at it so you could see, even though, again, it's a really large field for this map, it's flat. It's very, very flat. So horsepower requirements, virtually whatever implement you want to buy, you just have to make sure you get a tractor or a harvester or whatever that can handle that, and that's it. You don't have to worry about going above and beyond because of the incredibly flat land that you're involved with on this map. So let's come over here and take a look at this barn right here, or I should say this farm. This is another one of those farms. And this farm, I just wanted to double check that. This farm right here, even though you have those silos there, they're decoration. Even though you have these buildings right here, they're decoration as well. The reason why I didn't include this farm down here in the farms that towards the center of the map, these ones up here, where, yeah, these two right here, where I didn't include them in these two farms up here where they just have buildings, this one actually has a fairly large yard for you to go ahead and place down whatever you want. So I kind of figured that one to be kind of separate. It does have a nice space here for putting down stuff. I tried personally on a gameplay that I was working on with this, and the collisions are actually pretty good. You can get silos, sheds, all sorts of stuff really close to trees and bits and pieces that you'll see on the map. So that's something to keep in mind too. Now, if you're more or less wanting to go from point A to point B, you have the interstate or the highway or whatever it is that you want to call these. I'm not sure, depending where you're on. The freeways. Oops, let's get over here. Yeah, we're crossing in the wrong spot. That just is what's going to happen. You got these freeways right here. The Autobahn. I wouldn't consider this Autobahn, but I guess because this is in the States, no, we'll call it an interstate. Interstate or freeway. You can just haul. I actually like doing that. I tried that out here. Was driving around on the map, looking around at things, and you could just make it scream. This little motor would just scream on here. Now, I think I missed this particular one. Yes, I did miss talking about this farm here. None of those doors over there on that building open, but you do have some storage space right there. And again, like that farm we were just at, you do have a relatively decent amount of land right here, which we'll go ahead and click on this so you can see. Right here. So you have all of this back around in here. It gives you that opportunity to go ahead and either cut down those trees for forestry measures, or you can go ahead and put farm implements, storage, whatever it is that you want up over in that area. So it does give you the option, even though you're kind of in there's really not much of a farm location per se. You can go ahead and get yourself started up there, and you have a decent amount of land with some bits and pieces of storage. Now, ultimately, you can start the game wherever you want. If you want to start the game off in the middle of nowhere, pick a field, plow it under, and just start throwing stuff on it, you go for it. You absolutely go for it. Now, why am I coming up over here? Well, this land up here is purchasable too. This is part of that largest section of land that you can buy. Let's see. Oh, shoot, wrong button. I'm sorry about that. There we go. This is part of that largest section of land that you can buy. That's why we're coming up here and I'm showing you, you have these little bits and pieces, these little spurs off of here that you can get machinery up there and around for cutting these trees down and making the magic happen through forestry. And let me tell you, as a recent discoverer of how much forestry can just rake in the cash, oh my gosh, I tell you what, it's awesome. Oh man, but even over here in the forestry area, or what I'm going to be calling the forestry area, the hills really aren't that bad. This is still a relatively flat map. Now, getting trucks or bits and pieces up through here, watch out for that guy, that may cause some issues. But I guess as long as you have something that has decent enough horsepower, you probably should be fine moving forward. So with that being said, let's continue our journey around. Let's see here. We'll probably come up this way. Yikes. Come up this way. I want to head up this way for a particular reason. Now, when we were looking at the bakery, one of the things that you had to do was you had to get flour. Now we're going to head over to the mill, but the other reason, see, now this is absolutely cool right here. I noticed this the first time I drove this way. They could tell that I was just going to end up screwing things up, so they actually had this laying on the ground already. I didn't have to knock it over. They had it down for me. Oh man, but this is one of the things that I wanted to point out. This is probably the only real pinch point that you're going to get on this map. And let's say you have something too big to get through there, a harvester or whatnot. They actually have a path off to the side where you can get around. Just drive right through the edge and come back up and get yourself going. Oh my gosh, watch out. Watch out. Whew, that was close. So they at least made it so that if there is a pinch point on this map, you're still going to be able to get around it with your big machinery, whatever it is that you need to get through there, whether it's a semi with a trailer on it or a larger harvester. You can get your equipment from point A to point B on this map. It may not be the best thing, but it still works out pretty slick. So this is the other spot I wanted to stop at because this is the grain mill. Now, as we said down there, that bakery was $50,000. Up here, for the grain mill, $96,000. Now, you might be telling yourself, well, oh my gosh, that's way more expensive. Way more expensive. You're right, it is more expensive, but you have to really take a look at it, that the whole process of it. If you take a look at the bakery, what's the bakery doing? It's just putting ingredients, somebody takes the stuff, puts it together, and then they bake it. Okay, this requires major machinery and whatnot to grind the bits and pieces, grind up your grains, and make them into flour. There's more energy. So that's kind of where we're at with this. Let's continue ourselves on back down. This area here is the hilly, I'm using air quotes here, you can't see me, but this is the hilly portion of the map. And even with that being said, it's still not overly dramatic. You may have to slow down, take your foot off the gas a hair when you're coming around over this area. But ultimately, it's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. And that right there is Elm Creek. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to kind of climb on up here and take a look at one of the neat features that has absolutely nothing to do with farming. Absolutely nothing to do with farming at all. And it is this nice view from up here. We're going to get out. There's a place we can park up around the corner, but I'm not doing that. That's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. I mean, look at this. They did a great job of, I mean, personally, I feel this whole area right here, it has nothing to do with farming whatsoever. Absolutely nothing to do with farming, but I tell you what this is. This is what giants would call a flex or a power move. Because I tell you what, that looks super, super slick. Oh, boy, I tell you what. I tell you what. And that's pretty much all we got going on right here for this map. If you guys like what you seen, if you like what you heard, go ahead and smash that like button if you will, if you could, if you would. Kind of feel a little bit like a Dr. Seuss thing right there. I don't know what if I could do something about that. Oh man, but I tell you what, if you like that, go ahead and subscribe. It really helps out the channel a whole heck of a lot. Go ahead, hit that notification bell. There's going to be more FS22 stuff coming down the pipeline. I am ready for it so much. Been waiting for the game for quite some time, and I am glad it is here. Oof. Go ahead and share this with somebody who you think might be a little iffy about FS22, and show them what this map is made of. This is one of 3 starter maps for FS22. I tell you what, guys, this was good. This was great. Thanks for stopping by.